Hey guys, it's Aquila, and this is a Lefty Knitter podcast, and this is my channel about knitting and stuff. Knitting and stuff. Fibery goodness. Yeah. This is episode 54. I will have all the links to where you can find me down below. Ravelry, Instagram, all those fun places. Last week's episode was hard. Last week's episode was very discombobbled. Yeah, it was a mess. But you know what? I'm not going to apologize because this is real life. I work a 9-to-5 job. My husband works a 9-to-5 job. You know, we are just busy people in general, and recording when people aren't here is just not really gonna happen. I used to be able to record a lot of earlier episodes when Miss Z would be napping, so that would be great, but she doesn't nap anymore. So I've been trying to record just when I get a chance. Like right now she's watching a little bit of YouTube, so she's away and I can kind of do my thing. Yeah, it's just, you know, life is chaotic sometimes, and I can't help that, and I can't change it, and it's my life and I love it. And I hope everybody kind of gets a kick out of probably seeing just their own lives in our lives, because that's just how things go. We can't control everything, right? So if I could control everything, I'd have like a soundproof booth and all that, but you know, we don't. Doesn't happen. I'm gonna start off. Usually I don't record my intro at night because I really like to have the natural light coming through. I'll record it on a Sunday. Well, yesterday I had all my knitting group over and we did a Galentine's type thing, and we did potluck, and everybody came and we drank a little bit of wine and we ate a lot of food and we talked and we knit, and it was a great time. And some people's kids came, and so it was again a lot going on. Our house is not very big, so when we have gatherings, it does get a little tight, but we make it work. So that's, yeah. We used to get together like every week, and I miss that, but you know, life gets in the way sometimes, but we're trying. We are trying to vow to get back together at least once a week, or every other week, or something. Because we don't get together quite often enough. So, yeah. I made progress on my Bowie mitts. I'm not going to take them out. I have to Kitchener the top shut. But I'll have to show you when I do record that part that whatever I did differently, and I'm not quite sure, I don't have like that gap on the one edge where you do decreases. So I don't know what I did different. I might still rip out the other one and try to fix it, but I might not, because it's really not that noticeable and I could fix it. So, this is a new cast on. I'm making this because I'm trying to, again, use stash yarn, scrap yarn, etc. I'm making this because one of my coworkers, who I do consider, you know, we don't hang out outside of work, but she's like a friend at work, you know, type of deal. She's going through some rough stuff, and yeah, I wanted to make her something, and I think that she would be knitworthy. I don't know, I've never made anything for her, so I don't know how that's gonna go, but I think she would be a knitworthy person. I think that the reaction and emotion I'm gonna get out of it when I give it to her is gonna be like, what's worth it, you know? Like, that's gonna make me love doing what I've done. So this is a cowl, another cowl. I've been making all the cowls, right? So this is a free pattern on Ravelry. It's called the Head Girl Cowl, and it's by Rachel.
The Head Girl Cowl.
And Johnny Bo. It is the Head Girl Cowl by Rachel Compton of Kentucky Knits. Again, it was a free pattern. You can see. Lean forward again, John. I can see you in the mirror. Oh, up a little. Yeah, I can kind of see you. That's funny. Okay, so it is a cowl where you can use, I guess you can use as many colors as you want. She uses 2 colors. It's a worsted weight pattern. I, again, am using yarn I've had in stash for a long time. It's 4 sections, which I am modifying this. I said I shouldn't modify things in the last episode, but it's happening. I'm modifying this because I didn't have enough yarn of colors that I was picking to do it, and one of the sections I think had bobbles, and I just didn't want to do that. So it's 4 sections, and it's based on like 4 classes of Hogwarts classes at the school, Hogwarts school. I didn't pick it because of that. I actually picked it because I was looking for like a lunar chart, and this has one in it, and that's what I wanted because I think the person I'm giving it to, she's very into astrology and astrological signs and all those sorts of things. So I think she'll really appreciate that aspect of it. So, hi Vaughn. There's my boy. He's getting so skinny. Yeah, and cats. Cats interrupt things. That's just how it goes. So, I'll just show. I've gotten all of it done that I want, except for the ribbing on the top. And I will be done that. And I only did like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6 or 7 rows of ribbing. So I will have this done very shortly. The bottom section is like a modified seed stitch, and it's every other row you're alternating where the purl bump is. This section was where you're increasing one color amount of rows and decreasing the other color. Well, I ran out. I didn't get to do the 5th 5-row section here, and I didn't get to do the 1-row section of that because I ran out. But you wouldn't know any different, right? That's, you know, since I told you. And then this section is, of course, the lunar phases. And the chart repeats twice around. I do have to, you know, where all my color changes were, I have to like fix all that. That's right here. Super froggy. So the yarns I'm using, I like this color combination. This ball of yarn here. This is one color, one ball, and it gradates, it changes. Sorry about that. I don't have labels for all the yarn. This is I'm using just my Clover US size 8s, 16-inch circulars. So the first yarn is the yellow yarn, and so I bought this yarn. This is what is her name again? Vicky Howell, and it was by Caron. It was a line that she had out. I don't think this is a yarn you can buy anymore. This is really, really deep stash because I bought this yarn to make a sweater. I could probably try to pop in a picture, not in the video. My editing software, I have to like pause, insert a picture, and then, you know, keep going. You know, technical stuff. Okay, deep stash. Henry is my friend Cheryl's son, who I made the sweater for, and I believe he is now 1st grade, 2nd grade, and I made it when he was a baby. This is and it's acrylic yarn. It's 70% acrylic, 30% wool. Like I said, it's by Caron. And the color was just called Yellowish. It's a single ply, and it's not spun real tightly at all. You might be able to see. So, it's not bad yarn to work with. I'm just trying to use up stash, and I was trying to find colors that kind of all went together. So the other 2 yarns that are there's 4, I should say. These 2 are both the same brand, and those are, not that one, Lion Brand Woolies in the worsted weight. One of the colors is dark rose heather, which I'm assuming is the darker one. I don't know what the other colorway was. I could probably find it in my Ravelry project so I could at least link the color. Find something I made with that. I'm not sure what I made with that, but I'm pretty good at detecting and finding it. So I have like nothing left. Like these are just the ends that I've tied up until I weave in, and that's all I have of that. The last color was not a full ball, so I used it on something and I don't know what I used it on. This is also a Lion brand yarn, and this is the Amazing yarn. I don't know if this is available anymore either, although I could look that up. It is 53% wool and 47% acrylic. So all of this yarn, I didn't mention what this, the Woolly's worsted weight is 80% acrylic and 20% wool. So all three of these yarns are half, you know, wool and acrylic blends. This colorway is called Aurora. I have no clue what I made with this. I, again, will do some sleuthing and I'll make sure I try to link it, because I don't think this is like in my stash on Ravelry. I didn't always update my stash with all the box store yarns, so I will try to find that though. I am ready to do the ribbing and I'm hoping it uses almost all of this. I don't think it will. I'll have a little bit left over. I do have like one bin where I put like smaller amount of scraps that really aren't going to go into a project, but they could go into a weaving. So that's why I keep these, the little bits left. One day I might just donate them all to Scrap Baltimore for the kids section, or even to her preschool, because they could use them, the scraps like that, for little projects, you know, gluing, making shapes or something. So maybe I'll do that. But yeah, I really am impressed with how the colors work well enough together. I was a little worried, I'm not gonna lie, but I think they look really nice together. So yeah, the head girl cowl. I will again show you this when I finish the ribbing, and that'll probably be in this episode. All right, until the next clip. Hey everybody, it is the morning of the 27th and today is Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. I have finished my gift for my coworker, my friend slash coworker, my work friend. That's so weird. I told you about this in the last clip. This is called the Head Girl Cowl by Rachel Compton of Kentucky Knits. And I love it. I was talking about the yarns, and I did find pictures of what I used all these yarns in before. This was, I said, a sweater, which I turned into a vest because I screwed up the arms for a friend's little one. These two were baby items, like booties and hats. And then this yellow again is this yellow. And then from here up is the gradient of that Amazing yarn. I used that in the Stephen West Botanic hat. Yeah, that was his, Botanic. I made probably 12 of those. I was on a roll at some point. So this was, you used 2 colors for that hat, and this was one of the colors I used in one of the hats. So I had enough left for that, and I still had a little bit more. So I didn't even use it all. It'll just go on my scraps. So yeah, that's really good. I brought some tissue paper up. I'm gonna wrap it and I'm gonna make a little note to tuck in with it. So that's gonna go away today. So I wanted to make sure it was on the video. The other thing that the only other thing I've really been working on has been the Dragon Belly Cowl by Johanna Lindahl, because I finished my ball of yarn, if you remember, and I just had a blunt end because I was trying to decrease and make it an asymmetric or a symmetrical triangle shawl, like real shallow. I didn't save enough yarn to finish the second half of the triangle. So it had ended really abruptly and a blunt end, and I didn't like it. So I ripped back. I ripped back a lot. And here is where I ripped back to. So here's the beginning of it. Here's where I started. And I ripped back to this marker. and I made this point the halfway point, so that's the widest point, and I've got, this is about where it ended the last time, about here. So I still have quite a bit of yarn left. It's making very good progress, and if I fold it in half at that point, that's how much I have left to do. So I have a good feeling I'll have enough yarn to finish it. Yay! So that is exciting. And I'm finally getting this yarn out of my stash. This is now the second project that I've tried to make with it, and even with this one I was having some fails, but I made it work. I persevered. So I will probably have this done, well, hopefully have this done by the end of this episode, and that will be very exciting for me that it'll be done. And I can move on to something else, because I'm not good at having multiple projects, and I'm kind of stuck right now. I have yarn to make that Sorel sweater, and I've been wanting to use scraps, so I'm just kind of like in stuck mode. I don't know. Not that I don't have motivation, I'm just not sure where I want to go next with which project. So that's where we are. This is going to come to work with me. I'm going to work on it at lunch, and this is going to get wrapped up for my friend. Happy Leap Day, everybody. You know, once every 4 years. I read a meme this morning about either like go crazy and do it up, and you'll only see it on your social media every 4 years, so you know, do whatever you want to do. Something, I don't know, they stated it much better than I just did. So let's round up this video, and it's not done because the ends aren't woven in and it's not blocked, and I think it's gonna grow tremendously when it's blocked. Oh, I wanted to weigh what I had left. Just wait 1 second. This is the dragon belly shawl that I ripped out. I showed you guys where I ripped it back to. I didn't have to rip it back as far as I did, but that's okay. I have, let's see how much I have left. This is how much I have. Turn my scale on. Crazy hair. I just blow dried it and it always looks a little like floofy. Okay, ready? I have no grams. I know that's not right. Okay, something's not right. Let's turn it back off again. It's not weighing anything for some reason. I don't know. I don't think my batteries are dead. This one does take batteries. I mean, they could be dying, maybe. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I actually have 13 grams left. That's actually a lot for this, I believe, because that's still a lot in there. I'm not ripping back again. I just shouldn't have ripped it back and made the new center point the center point. I could have ripped it back a little bit less, but I didn't run out, so that's good. So I'll just put this in my scrappy crochet blanket. That's what I'll end up doing. So here we go, and I haven't cut it off yet because I haven't really fully finished the loop, but whoa! Okay, here was the starting point. Here was the middle, or where I showed you the last time from, which is about the middle. Now, you can see I can fit the whole thing if I scrunch it up, but it is gonna stretch a lot. And I'm stretching it to the full length of my wingspan here. So I think it's gonna stretch out even more than that, because if you look at this, like, look how much, I could really aggressively block this. So I really love that I ripped it out and fixed it, and it's beautiful. And I think it's gonna look good, really casual outfits, like with jeans and stuff. So I'm happy with that. Very happy. Even though it was a partial fail, I fixed it. I went back and I fixed it. Let's see. The other thing, I don't have a lot on my needles right now.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
What do I do? What do I have?
You've got hexacoilical knitting.
That's the new thing that I haven't talked about yet.
Okay,
so
that is a technique where she uses 3 needles. She's never done it before.
3 needles?
3 needles? No.
Just 2 needles.
Just 2 needles. And then she like starts a little bit here and then puts some more in there, and it makes it look spider webby. And
spider webby?
yeah, it looks like an orb weaver. It goes up and down. Yeah, it does.
How does it look like? Okay, so this is the free pattern I'm using, the Helix hats, and this is by Jessica Rose. I've never done helical knitting before. Now, I want to learn helical knitting more for doing my sweaters. So when I have 2 yarns that are indie dyed, that's why most people will alternate their yarns, so it doesn't pull weird. Or if one skein was dyed a little bit darker, because you've dyed yarn before, it's not always even. So even though you use the same exact dye recipe, it might not always, it might turn out a little darker, it might turn out a little lighter. So you can buy 2 skeins from one indie dyer of the same color, but it might not really, if you knit a whole section of the sweater and then a whole nother section of the sweater, it could look like 2 different colors, right? So you alternate your skeins to fix that. But there's also helical knitting, which is where you're just, I think you're just stopping at a certain point and then slipping a couple stitches and then using the second skein. This is a little different because you're not slipping any stitches. It's a 3-color helical knitting procedure, so it's going to make the yarn kind of spiral. I mean, you won't really tell that it's actually spiraling, but it will be, it really will be spiraling once.
So basically exactly what I said earlier.
An orb weaver.
It does. It looks like a little orb weaver.
I don't get.
You know the little part in the middle of the orb weaver's nest, not the actual spider, the web.
The web. I know it does have like a cool center.
The thing.
So with this pattern and the helical knitting, you're taking color A and you're knitting half your stitches, and then you do color B, and you get to the other half, and then you start color C. That's really confusing, I'm sure. Just get the pattern and read it. But it will end up, you won't have like your stitches jogging where the color changes are. It looks pretty even. You can see that's where I started my white, and there's not really any color jog. So I'm doing this because Hazel needs a hat for Dr. Seuss Week. Well, she asked me for a hat for Dr. Seuss Week in red, white, and blue. So I need to, this will be done really quick. Hats are so fast.
I'm excited for you, babe.
For learning helical knitting?
For learning something new.
Yeah, well, I'm trying.
I know, me too. I'm learning stuff new too.
Yeah? What are you learning?
I had 2 sets of things in a shopping cart on Amazon. And, do I smell that right?
No, I was trying to get back a little because the shadow is on your face.
And one was going to be taking a swing at acid dye and buying like an acid dye kit, starter kit thing.
Because we still have some berry yarn, right?
But that got nixed for now, unfortunately, because I've always wanted a Dutch oven, like a camping Dutch oven. And, yeah, I did that instead. So I got like the little tripod. I spent all morning this morning seasoning it and baking it and all that stuff. So we're gonna try to make some chili over a campfire in the backyard. And
I think chili is going to be kind of an easy thing.
It's going to be super easy, but I'm going to do the meat in the... So I've got to preheat it and do the meat in the thing. That'll be the hardest part.
How are you going to drain the grease?
And the onions.
That pot's going to be really hot. I guess we need to get some good pot holder gloves.
Yeah.
Because you got to drain that grease off. No one wants that grease.
Well, once I get doing like the charcoal briquettes and stuff like that, apparently like all the guys are buying like welder's gloves and stuff like that to where they can just like palm stuff easier.
Yeah, because that pot's gonna get hot. I've never owned a cast iron pot ever, or a skillet even, because
I'm gonna wok.
Yeah, but that's not quite the same.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really technically like wash the wok. Like,
yeah, you
don't scrub it.
Same thing.
So it is kind of like this. It is kind of the same, but like. Cast iron cooking is like way different. Although it would be nice to have a cast iron to like start something on the oven and then or on the stove top and then throw it into the oven.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of having to like, but you know,
be a whole thing.
It's a whole. Yeah, you definitely have to like learn what you're doing.
I wish we would have got one for our wedding. And I think, spoiler alert, if you're getting married anytime soon, I think I'm gonna buy you a cast iron thing.
So I guess add us to your registry and your wedding guest list and we'll be there.
Yes. And I'm gonna get you, because I read the coolest thing, because when I was learning like what to do and all this stuff, this lady had this article and she was like, yeah, I got a cast iron like skillet thing for a wedding gift, and it sat in my basement until I sold it at a yard sale for $4 or something like that. And then she was talking. Well, no, her husband's parents, the ones that actually bought it for her, were
at the yard sale.
No, they asked her about it, and she told them, and they were like, "No, well, it's our fault that we didn't show you how to use it.
Teach you how to use it.
You get it, and start seasoning it at the beginning of your relationship, and then it turns out to be like the best cooking device ever or whatever, and it seasons as your relationship grows stronger."
Oh boy.
So yeah, you can have like a registry at like, I don't know, what do you kids do registries on?
Where do you get cast iron?
It doesn't matter where your registry is. If it's at like Forever 21 or something, you're still gonna get a cast iron something or other.
Well, and they last like forever, right? I mean, that's the whole thing, is that they last
that's the
like
only
a long,
thing
long time.
I'm worried about, because...
Would you want to buy a used one? Like, if you saw one in a thrift, would you want to buy an already pre-seasoned one?
If it's a Lodge, yes. Because that's what I keep hearing, is the
brand.
I'm never a name brand queen, and they say cheap people pay twice, and that is definitely...
true with some things. It
true
really
with some
is.
things. It gave me bed bugs once.
Ew.
I know.
Ew. Did you buy a used mattress or something?
No. I did the...
that was before my time.
The Chinatown bus to New York instead of the mega bus. Because the Chinatown bus was a lot cheaper, and...
You ended up catching some sort of... You took something home with you.
Getting bed bugs.
Ew.
It was gross. But anyways,
well, they say that about tattoos sometimes too, right? Like the whole like.
Yeah, dude, did you hear the story this week of the lady that got her eyeballs tattooed?
No.
Yeah, so you know eyeball tattooing is a thing.
It is a thing, and I used to follow this girl on Instagram because they were like tinted purple, and they were like. It was like a car crash, and you have to look at it, and I had to, like... I follow
a girl that has it done as well, and hers are just black. So it's eyeball...
If it's the same person.
Eyeball tattoo. Is she like a bodybuilder?
Oh, no.
Okay.
No.
So they tattoo your eyes.
The white part.
The white part of your eyes to be whatever color, right? And
I can't even imagine. I mean, I have tons of tattoos, but I can't imagine getting my eyes tattooed.
Went to somebody that had never done it before. They used the wrong ink. There's a special ink, and you have to be licensed, from what I understand.
Like what is it when you have the cosmetology tattooing license? It's a whole
something like that, right?
Okay.
But So she couldn't see out of the first eye.
Oh no.
And he's like,
Uh-uh.
oh, it's fine. It'll be like that for a couple of minutes.
Oh,
So
no.
he did the other
Oh,
eye,
no.
and now she is completely blind.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh.
Good times.
Don't get your eyeballs.
I want to. Really
No.
bad. I want to do all black.
Oh, that is just no.
That'd be cool.
Like if we're already. Tattoos still aren't like 100% accepted by certain generations, and like doing that is just it's still not like totally socially acceptable.
Yeah.
You know, and doing that, no, just like getting your face tattooed, people definitely look at you different.
Yeah.
You know, so please don't do that.
Okay. I've been painting a bunch. That's been fun.
Yeah, you have been.
And I've never been able to paint, and I still can't really very well. But
it's just like
having
any
fun,
project.
and that's one thing I've never been able to do. It. Anytime I try to paint,
I got very frustrated.
I rage quit, and that's every time. And now I'm like, what, 6 paintings in?
Yeah.
And like I'm starting to have fun with it. I have rage quitted and completely changed the color, but then I forced myself to do something over top of that actually turned out cooler than the original plan.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
Oh, can I go back to my helical knitting?
Yeah,
Because
I'm gonna
go. Okay. Hi.
Love you guys.
Just real quick, I wanted to say one more thing about the helical knitting, because I'm one of those people who, when I first started buying yarn, I was buying single skeins and I didn't know what to do with it. Well, I knew what to do with it because I was making a lot of like simple one skein projects. I wasn't a sweater knitter yet. I wasn't making projects that needed more than one skein. And now I want to make all the sweaters, and I want to make projects that have, that really need more than one skein. Now, some projects you can't get away with it. You almost want to have that solid color or one color. But I have all these single skeins, and I feel like even with this 3-color helical knitting, like I think it looks really cool. And it's like micro stripe, right? So every row is a new stripe. And instead of having to like change your colors, you do the helical knitting. And I have some yarn that wouldn't be quite a fade. Like it wouldn't fade perfectly nice and whatever else, but I feel like it would kind of be really cool if it micro striped in the sweater. And I know I can do 3 skein finger weight short sleeve sweaters for myself. So, and I know I've talked about doing like colorwork sweaters to use up some of my yarn, but I also feel like this would be a really good alternative to use up some of that yarn, or even using like 2 skeins and making Z a sweater or 2. Although, God, I've talked with friends about knitting for their kids, and yes, Z she asks for stuff, obviously, but this is something she's not really going to grow out of. Like, she'll grow out of sweaters, and I don't know, it's just really hard for me to put, other than budgeted yarn, into a sweater for her, because what are we going to do with it? I mean, I could pass it on to somebody else, but then what are they going to do with it? Are they just going to toss it because they're like, it doesn't fit my kid, I'm going to send it to the thrift? I don't know. It's very hard for me. Like, I have a bunch of baby sweaters that I made, but I let her use some of them on like her baby dolls. So I feel like it's still at least being used. And then at some point I can put it away in the attic for what? I don't know. Like, hoarder. I'm not a hoarder, but I did keep some of her baby stuff, but we're slowly getting rid of a lot of other stuff. So yeah, so this is really cool. So I feel like if you used 3 colors like I'm doing, and you just divide the amount of stitches you have, so maybe the whole top of the sweater is 1 color. I don't know how it works with increases, but I guess it would work the same way, because I would probably do the color change like at the back, or maybe here. So once, I don't know, I'm not sure, because in Raglan the increases are here. That's what I got for you. I haven't cast on anything else new. I haven't finished the Bowie mitts, and I have to fix the timeout cowl. Stranger Things cow. Yeah. We're off to Walmart to buy a few things. And I might be buying something from Walmart to make a new project, and I'll just talk about that on the next episode. So until then, guys, I hope you're having a great leap day. Yeah. Is that what you call it? I guess. Yeah. I can't imagine having a birthday on a leap day. I mean, I guess you just celebrate the 1st or the 28th. But technically, your real birthday only comes every 4 years. That would kind of suck, wouldn't it? Okay, that's now a sad note. I don't want to end it like this. All right. Happy knitting, y'all. Bye.